So the task would be to test it in 1v1, which AI would be the best. A lot of the time it is in 1v1, but for this tournament there are some 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4. But most tournaments don't go this whole way of 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4. They mainly focus on 1v1 and maybe 2v2. What was special about this tournament is that it included basically all AIs from previous tournaments, from AI scripters, from AOK Heaven, and even from a really early Japanese, it was called the Cat tournament from back in the day. So it included the majority of those AIs that date back basically from 23 years ago, and even some prototype AIs from when the game was in development. Does DE not support the Natural Wonders cheat? It does. I normally don't use it, but yes, it does support the Natural Wonders cheat. I just normally change back and forth with the Control Shift F1, F2 function keys. What about Boobly? Are there still active AI scripters? They have mainly moved on to DE. They basically skipped over HD, and most of the user patch scripters are moving on to DE as well. It was kind of like a twist of the arm type of thing, because user patch and Boobly and all, there's a lot of love for that, but the majority of individuals have now switched on to DE, and DE is being actively worked on, as you know. Immortal, the AI in blue here, plays a little bit better on user patch. TheMaximalBeing designed him to in user patch, but he also updates him for DE as well. Last year, when Davis Cup was on user patch, there is still a lot of work to be done to move all of this. Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of AIs that were made to be played on HD. There were a few, but not a whole lot. It was basically almost like a generational skip. But has anyone successfully attempted an AOV1 AI competition? And does that need patches? Oh yeah, I'm actually the person who's in charge of the AOE1 scripters, which is totally separate from AI scripters. And we just got out of a tournament. It started after Davis Cup, but it ended probably in 2 weeks, because we only had probably around 16 AIs, because we played it on Return of Rome, but usually we like to play on AOE 1 as well. So and we do play on Rock and Roar. Yes, Tyrene. So if you're interested in So we played the tournament on Return of Rome because the majority of people wanted the Return of Rome to be played for AOV 1, and so we recently included Return of Rome inside because you guys, individuals wanted that to be an option since the new civs were a thing. So we went ahead and allowed that to become an option for AOV 1 scripters. But we do have tournaments on vanilla Age of Empires, and we also have it on Rise of Rome and Rock and Roar. So it's not as active because we only have around I want to say around 36 members right now on AOV 1 scripters. Yeah, Return of Rome is still, being worked on, of course, because it's still Return of Rome is still being worked on. We'll see if Immortal goes for attack here. He's kind of holding himself back. We'll see when he starts to attack. With the latest DE updates, Immortal has a few can have a few issues, but it looks like he's starting to go for the attack. Maybe. Do you think an AI script tournament could be a deal one? Okay. Do you think an AI script tournament could be a deal one day? So, best AI scripter will win the tournament. Because AI. So, inside the tournament, there's actually three more rounds inside this tournament. And of course, usually the best and brightest AIs usually make it to the last round. But Immortal only plays Arabia right now. It doesn't play other maps like Barbarian does. So just because it is the best AI on this setting doesn't mean it's great in other settings as well. It's still being worked on. It doesn't support water yet, to my knowledge, or anything like that. Yeah, the tournament that this 350 AI tournament that I inside the spreadsheet. If you actually go to the there's been 350 AIs, so we went past the brackets pre-qualification. We went past the brackets qualification round, so and then now we're on the brackets final stage, and there are 3 final stages here, which are taking some time to run, but on the matches that you see on screen, this is one of the games of the tournament. So that's what we're running. These are some of the games from that tournament. No, I'm glad that you're interested in AI scripting. If you continue to be interested, make sure to check out the Discord, and then also maybe if you want, you can kind of script your own AI and see how it works. The basic commands are fairly simple to get into, and then once you get that kind of squared away, you can add in user patch commands and all the more interesting, I guess, pieces of code that people consider to be more interesting. Oh, it really doesn't require that much knowledge or to get into scripting. Like, here's an example of a rule. So I can include one for you inside the chat here of a very simple rule. Let me see if I can. So this is a rule here. So what this does is it trains a petard up to 5 petards. So that's how you would actually train a petard at the castle, and it's very similar for building buildings as well. And so yeah, the rules are very simple at the very beginning. They're very similar to that. So if you just have, it starts very simple, and then when you get a handle on that, I mean, you can start creating more advanced stuff. And you can insert basically any unit into that, and it'll train, that unit if it's available to train. So let me see if I've got an example of barracks. I don't want to take away from the game, but this is an example of how build a barracks. Okay, back to our match. So Immortal has done a good job kind of subduing the opponent here. No. Well, you can separate it by civ if you want to. But generally AIs most AIs only play one civ. Some play more than one civ, but most creators like to assign a specific civ to their that their AI will play. But there's all sorts of I guess rules that you can include to I guess for the different settings, if you want to include those. And Leaf has a good guide out there for other commands and stuff if you want to include it in your AI. But like I said, that rock hurl list tool that I included from AOK Heaven, that is a great tool to help you get started. And it will basically help with the more simple commands to help you get started. So yeah, definitely check out this tool if you want to create your own AI and get started. It'll do basically all the work for you to get you the basic foundation for your AI. But please don't think it's too complicated at the beginning. It really isn't. Well, it looks like Immortal has won another game. Immortal is one of the most complicated AIs there is. He actually developed a compiler to actually build his AI. So he wrote his AI basically in a completely different programming language and then compiled it into into the commands of a standard, of the standard scripting language. Yeah, glad that you had the time to check us out. What was his? How did he come? So TheMaximalBeing built his own compiler, basically to remember that he's a programmer. So he's an actual programmer that uses whatever language that he does, assembly, C or whatever, to build the compiler, and then he programs in the language that he wants to, and then he compiles that code into the language that the standard DUC. And if you actually look at his AI, you'll note that it looks a lot different than a standard AI in how advanced his commands are. So, and he has, inside his AI, he has around 107,000 lines of code. Oh, right. But tell us, Promi is a fantastic scripter. I mean, Amarius, I mean, he is one of the best, and I mean, he does a great job. He's done great work around the community for many years. So his AI Promi was just a top AI, probably the number 2 AI for many years. So I think some of the difference between Promi or Marius is that Immortal or TheMaximalBeing uses a little bit more DUC, but it's just it just differs between scripters about the amount of DUC they use or user patch and everything like that. So everyone codes a little bit differently. And coding the way that Immortal does, that's very difficult. that he's still useful. I can tell I'm going to have an earful later. Someone's gonna send me a message. Oh. So I think we know who won this fight. Let's go ahead and go on to the next fight. So Immortal took on game 1 of Immortal versus Team MaxiPower. Let's go ahead and go on to the second game here of this set, which is going to include everyone's most favorite AI, Barbarian. And even as a general player of the game knows who Barbarian is. So Barbarian was created by TheMax, and he was created, I think, around 2011. But he was updated for many, many years. Let's see, Rattlehead. Okay, so it'll be Rattlehead, Barbarian. The third is Arabian Knight and II and Aztec. Arabian Knights and II and Aztec. So this is a team of AIs that you see that were all created by TheMax. Yeah, that it is neat to know the whole process of how AIs are made. And Immortal. And Immortal. Make sure to check us out when the tournament's about finished. If you want to see the final game of the tournament, which should be in several weeks. Because we still have a lot of games to run, but we're starting to get there. So Immortal plays any civ, but what will Barbarian be playing? That is the question. Barbarian will be playing Turks. And Immortal plays any civ, so first will be Byzantine, and he will be playing random civ for the rest. Let me just make sure that he plays any. So actually we can just use the random feature since it's any. Actually, these are older AIs and they won't do, so we have to use AOC civs. So Korean. Huns. And Saracens. Okay, so there we have it. We have our civs. Everything should look good, and Well, it is one of our hobbies. So we should. We Yeah, we generally keep track of the civs of on the. I'm not a very good player myself. I enjoy scripting. So scripting is one of my favorite things to do, even though I'm not very good at it. So, and I like watching the AIs battle. So, and I like looking at the statistics. So and after the game. So I like a lot of parts of creating AIs. So, and plus I enjoy the community. So. Yeah, the maximal being. So, the maximal being is is a very good programmer. So, yeah, he codes different than basically everyone else. So he's in his own class of scripting or programming. But we will see if he wins the final set this year, because he has a very strong opponent. And his opponent wants revenge for last year. Who is also very good. So he goes by TheMaximalBeing. He's the person who basically developed his own compiler. TheMax is his opponent here, and of course TheMax also goes by he's a player, a famous one of the top players of the game. TheMax. Let me see if I can find his name. He's. I forget who his. He's one of the top players. Oh, it's gonna. I'm not going to be able to remember. Is that Max from Finland? I can't. I remember that he's one of the top players of the game, and he goes by II2N or TheMax. Let me see if I can. Yeah. One of those things I am terrible at are names. So I am awful at it. So, you know, I can't say that I'm good at that. I know my limitations, and I'm willing to admit them. So, which is important. But the struggle is still the struggle. Okay, his real name is Eric Ukkola. He's from Finland, yes. So you had that right. Yeah, but he's not the maximal being. He is the max. So two different individuals here. Immortal was made by the maximal being, and Barbarian was made by the Max. So totally separate individuals, even though they have the first the Max in their name. But both are very good scripters, of course. Yeah, it can be a little bit tricky with the names. The Max hasn't coded for several years at this point. The Maximal Being, who is the Immortal creator, is an active scripter around the community. What we will be looking for inside this fight is what strategy Barbarian will be going for here. Okay, so it looks like he's going scouts. Alright, so Immortal just hit Castle Age. We'll see if Barbarian will... Which Immortal Barbarian will be going for. I tried to see if I could automate the AOC AI tournament with the auto hotkey, but never figured out how to control the camera precisely for action without human. It would have been epic. I'd talk with Matty B. Rad about that, Tyrian, and see if he can give you any guidance. sorry, audio glitch. What was his name? Matty B. Rad. And Tyrion, if you've made an Age of Empires 1 AI, we at AOB 1 Scripters, we would still like for you to participate with us. We have an upcoming tournament in about a month if you would like to participate. It's for Return of Rome, but we have an AI. We have an Age of Empires 1 to Age of Empires 2 AI converter, so you can convert one of your AIs if it only plays on Age of Empires 1. Matty B. Rad. Let me get you his name. Give me a second. This is his name. Oops. Let me see. There we go. So it looks like Arabian Knight's doing a little bit of damage. Doesn't look like he's going to go up in age though. Four immortals are just too much for one barbarian. Hey Leaf, thanks for joining. Yeah, earlier in the stream, Vitalis was gifted a couple of subs um, to Waddle and a couple of other users of the community. So thanks to him again for that. And it's always awesome to have an AI creator basically in conversation or watching the stream. An Age of Empires creator, yeah. That mangonel was almost sniped right there by that sugar ship. Ooh. Okay. Barbarian just resigned. Well, it looks like this game's basically over at this point. Let's go ahead and call it and go on to 2v2. So this is going to be the last game of tonight. Immortal took that set, which really wasn't too much of a surprise. Hey Vitalis, welcome back. We're going on to the final game here between Immortal and his opponent. So it looks like you have a fan and leaf inside the crowd. So inside the 2v2, it's going to be Rattlehead and Barbarian. The Civ for Immortal will be any random AOC Civ, so that will be Frank's. Barbarian Civ will be Celts. Gifted a tier 1. Okay. Oh. Wow. Another sub. Okay. Let's see here. So final game of tonight. Immortal versus team II2N or TheMax MaxiPower. Let's go ahead and start off. Immortal going for fast castle. Well, fast. Looks like fast feudal scout rush. Oh, scout. Fast feudal scout castle. Okay, it's fast feudal scout into castle, I guess, and the other one's a fast feudal skirm strategy. It's nice that he labels his strategies now. Immortal has a lot of sheep. Rattlehead is a little bit slower than the others. He's lurking. Yeah, this is one of the evil things that Immortal does, is that he's very good at killing villagers. And picking them off one at a time. It's not something that an older AI can really handle very well. So they struggle with because Immortal has all the advanced commands and DUC and user patch and basically everything. Older AIs, they can't garrison and they can't do certain things that newer AIs are capable of doing. But Rattlehead was able to kind of chase him off there. They did take a hit with his villagers, for sure. Barbarian's unfortunately kind of struggling a little bit with Immortal. He has archers going into skirms. He's kind of being double teamed by Immortal here. They should have a better chance at winning this fight than the others, I think. Immortal is awfully strong. Even though Barbarian is an older AI, he did update him into the user patch era, of course, and so that's why he's able to garrison troops in the way that you saw there. Looks like he's going back to torture Rattlehead a little bit more. I think Barbarian's going up in the castle, probably. No, he's not. He's still struggling inside Feudal. Both Immortals are in or approaching Castle Age. You know you're in trouble when your villagers are basically stuck inside their base. So, Barbarian is struggling to Feudal Age units against Castle Age units. Not sure why Immortal hasn't finished off the two of them yet. Barbarian putting up a little bit of a fight here. Ooh. But he has resigned. And I think that's going to be it. Rattlehead is calling it. So let's go ahead and count the scores. So Immortal won all 3 of his games against TheMaximalBeing. So I think that's going to call it for now. Again, thank you to all the viewers who have tuned in today. Enjoyed having you guys on, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow for another set of matches. So until then, thanks for tuning in.